Basically what Venom have done, producing like the finest and most powerful ultra portables ever. It's going to make this one in particular, the Dell XPS users and like high-end HP users should be paying close attention to exactly this video. Hey, Michael Fury here from Deep Tech Dive. We are going to do something a little bit different this time around. And with this review in particular, it's not going to be our normal deep dive, but in fact, it's going to be a quick dive. Now, let's think. Deep dives need a lot of time to assess and look into a product, basically really detailed, right? It's going into every single nook and cranny, making sure we've left no stone unturned. And in order to do that, you actually need to have the product for a long time. And despite what almost every single reviewer on the internet will tell you, you can't do a great review just through a 5-minute look at a product. So this is going to be much more like first impressions, and even though journalists of course are going to call it a proper review, let's call it simply what it is. So first of all, welcome to Deep Tech Dive. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us, and hit subscribe if you want to see more detailed analysis like this on different products. So today we have the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom, generation number 9. A massive improvement, high level kind of summary, an unbelievable step forward in this product, and one which is literally changing the game in this ultra portable segment. So it follows the same design principle called intelligent performance, which Venom have always focused on, and bringing that kind of whole ethos to what does it really take to take computing to a whole other level. And so that's basically what Venom have done exactly, and really being very particular about producing like the finest and most powerful ultra portables ever. And it's going to make this one in particular, the Dell XPS users and like high-end HP users should be paying close attention to exactly this video. Now, in a world where high performance varies for like digital artists, gamers, everyday productivity warriors, the BlackBook isn't just a tool, it's designed to be a game changer. Now, I'm going to cover this new BlackBook based on a few days of usage only. And so this is going to be an initial impressions, kind of point of view, what ifs, go to kind of things, what do I like about it? And then I'm going to do a much more deeper, kind of proper ownership review where I'm using it as my daily driver. So let's talk first impressions. First of all, it comes in this brand new box. Now, who's really excited about a box? Well, it's like unwrapping a Christmas present. You go through those different layers. Think about that Apple experience where you're kind of going through and it's kind of all feels really nice. They have nailed it in terms of this regard, and I think it really shows Venom's intent. They're trying to really level it up and go after the big end of town at this point. It's a glossy finish, it's beautifully crafted cardboard. I know it's not a big deal for some people, but when you're kind of spending this kind of money, we're talking a couple of grand for the basic version, it certainly feels like you've got something special, and it doesn't disappoint when you actually get into the actual product. So like when you unpack an Apple product, you kind of get a chance to peel back the layers, and then you're left with this kind of like art piece here in front of you. And you can see here it's finished in a smoother matte black than the previous model. It's very minimalistic, very sophisticated, and it doesn't kind of scream out to you, which I really like, especially if you look at this logo. It's in that kind of lighter grey, where previously it was like kind of bold and bright white. Now they've gone for like almost a super subtle, almost like a snake in the corner waiting to pounce. And I think that's pretty much what this whole product is really about. It's such a surprise when you dig into, and it just becomes like, wow, oh my god, I had no idea. And most people never even heard of Venom. So I really like the colouring and the kind of the shading of how the logo is done. It's like an off black where it kind of contrasts with how it's done, and it just kind of sits off the black, which is super classy and super cool. And I often think about Venom like a Porsche. They make premium performance cars, but they don't kind of scream about it like Lamborghini or Ferrari do. Much more subtle. They definitely take it up a notch, especially in this kind of cool stealth black. Very classy, basically a super well kept secret, which will make you look like the smartest guy in the room when your friends or your colleagues start to find out what you're actually working with. So in the realm of computing, high performance is not just a term reserved for gamers or tech enthusiasts, it's equally crucial for like everyday productivity warriors. Venom tells me that they've really brought the intelligent performance ethos to the redesign of this product, where it's not only leveled up its performance, but also the design, the look and feel, and it's very kind of moving into that kind of Apple Mac territory, which is very, very cool to see. One of the big things, which is actually a small thing, is the Venom focus on the 1% improvements. And it's kind of like this small incremental enhancement idea where if you add it all together, you get significant overall gains. It's essentially the same principle that was brought to the fore by the British cycling team, I think it was Sky, which led them to victory through a series of minor adjustments. You know, we're talking about sweeping out the trailer more so there's less dust so it doesn't get on the bikes, that kind of stuff, and you know, small improvements in their diet, their sleep, and that kind of thing. All of that ultimately realized into winning championships. Applying this philosophy to the BlackBook, they've left a lot of really good stuff and then made some bold, intelligent tweaks that combined produce a machine literally greater than the sum of all its parts. It's about understanding a computer in this context is not just about speed, but it's also about how it integrates with your life, how it enhances your workflow, and also how the users are actually going to use it, and kind of really pushes the boundaries of what you might have thought was possible. So why am I even bothering to mention this? Because in a market flooded with devices that boast high specs about everything, the BlackBook focuses on the user experience. And it's not just about what's under the hood, it's about how all those components work together to create something truly exceptional. Too often you see manufacturers kind of like chase headlines, which often compromise on the end user's performance. It's a bit like when someone uses a fake model photo for their Tinder profile and then their pretty average self turns up in real life with a date. What is actually the point? It just ends in disappointment. But thankfully, in performance, this BlackBook doesn't disappoint whatsoever. So the processor in this is a monster compared to what came before. Even like 3 or 4 years ago, the 014 Phantom 8th Gen was an amazing ultra portable. This processor in the new one, 40% more, and that's according to various benchmarks. And the crazy part, it's even more energy efficient. And as you'll know, high processing power is usually traded off with fan noise to keep it cool. But good news, not on this one. So this one is much quieter than the previous one. The 014 Phantom is a whisper in the wind in terms of like volume. So it's so quiet that you often actually need to like hold your ear up to the pad to see if it's actually on or not. So very cool, and yeah, very, very cool, especially if you're kind of doing Zoom calls or things like that where you know you don't want to be hearing your computer whirring in the background. They've also done all this while boosting up the battery life, which for many will find hard to believe on an ultra portable. So you need to have performance, we get that, and we'll also need to have like 10 hours of battery life and probably much more as I kind of go through the initial testing and see that just kind of played around with all the settings, but you can easily kind of get that 10 hours plus. The battery in this one is literally huge. I think it's like 50% larger than the previous one, about double the size of what's in a MacBook, Dell XPS or HP's premium notebooks, and we're talking the largest battery you can put into a laptop and still get on a plane. So in technical speak, that's 99.8 watt hours of storage, and amazing when you realize the competitors are literally like around 55 watt hours, so almost double. Diving into the build now, the premium Magnesium Alloy sets it apart. It's not just your regular laptop, it's lighter, stronger, and packed with power. The slight weight gain over its predecessor is a small price to pay for the double performance and the battery size that you're getting. So it's a bit heavier, but man, it absolutely knocks the socks off. It's still lighter than the competitors, even with the enormous battery, and that's mainly down to the use of the Magnesium Alloy metal. So this approach is why they can have a massive battery in there and still be lighter than its rivals. And I mean like top tier rivals like Dell, HP, Apple. We're talking about 2.5 pounds or 1.15 kilograms. It's nothing when you understand that this is a 14-inch serious laptop. Now, from the moment you turn it on, the one thing immediately strikes you is the screen. Amazing. Look at it, stunning. In this, we're talking about over 5 million pixels, so 2.5 times or 2.4 times more than the full HD screen on the previous Gen Zero, and at a 2800 by 1800 resolution, it's beautiful, and the blacks are super rich. It's hard to believe it doesn't even seem to use more power, which is wild, and I'm gonna have to go through that in the deeper dive in the next video, but I haven't got, yeah, it's just kind of crazy how it's not actually using a lot more power, even though it's got like double the pixels of what it had before. Now, when you're looking at a top tier laptop like the BlackBook, you really do have to go beyond the hood. You know, you can't just look at the surface level. The chassis in terms of this is a masterpiece and influences everything from the cooling to the acoustics, the durability, and while a lot of other computers kind of settle for the aluminium, the BlackBook's aerospace grade magnesium alloy chassis leads the pack, allowing for that kind of slimmer, feature packed design that outshines its rivals for sure. Gaze down at the keypad and you'll see the huge touchpad there, and one thing you'll certainly not be able to miss is it's like a playing field of a touchpad. It's absolute gem. It's 59% larger than the last one, crafted from glass, and if you touch it and feel it, kind of your finger glides around. It is beautiful to use. Significant leap over many competitors, which weirdly kind of feels luxurious and like efficient to be using, and certainly, yeah, easily reached by, you know, when you're using typing or something like that. It's certainly an enormous improvement over its predecessor. I use the predecessor on a daily basis, and it's also got that little locking feature here at the top where you can lock the touchpad by double tapping. So if you're watching a movie or if you're kind of weirdly flailing around thumbs, then you can make sure that they're not going to tap onto the keypad, and so you're all good to go and stop any unintended gestures. Webcam, one thing I didn't love about the last version of the Venom 14 Phantom was the webcam, and it was just a bit meh, you know, especially in this kind of COVID world. It felt very pre-COVID-y where people didn't really use Zoom or Teams that much. But wow, Venom have turned up to the party this time around, and it goes without saying how important nailing this part of the computer really is these days, especially when people are spending weeks on Teams calls, you know, back-to-back meetings. How does this new BlackBook stack up? In short, I think it's spot on in terms of this space. I'm so glad this has been improved, but I will go into more detail in the deep dive in the coming months, and just kind of a bit of a quick summary now. But the microphone also is stunning. Again, huge improvement. You can use it in different ways, like have someone sat on the other side of a meeting room and they can still hear you crystal clear. While I'm talking audio, I've got to mention, of course, the speakers. Again, a bit lackluster in the last version. They really ramped it up. I had it on earlier. It is loud, which is fab. It's a great step forward and makes it far more versatile, not just a work computer, but also one you can really use for movies or for, you know, if you've got music on in the office or something like that. It's super crisp and just very clear. It's driven actually by the Steel series. So Venom have made an excellent choice here, and I'll go deeper in the next video. For now, how these speakers are and basically how they're just lovely to listen to, so I think you're going to really enjoy them. Now let's talk about the critical component that often gets overlooked, the SSD. It's astonishing how many major brands like Dell, HP, Lenovo and Apple rarely discuss their SSD speeds. Why? Because it's really the weak link in a chain if you get it wrong. And so the BlackBook has an adopted an approach to dominate when it comes to the SSD speeds. And I'm talking speeds which are like mind-blowingly fast for the ultra portable category. It's like crazy. We're talking like about a machine that clocks in at nearly 7,000 megabytes per second on the Crystal Disk Mark tests. That's not just fast, that's like Tesla ludicrous mode on hyperdrive fast, you know what I'm saying? The question is, why does SSD speed matter so much? Well, because today's applications are data-hungry beasts, your system's responsiveness hinges on how quickly it can feed that data into the processor. Imagine your data is like a massive filing cabinet with rusty hinges. Even if you have the world's fastest kind of clerk, your CPU that is, your speed really means nothing if they're kind of fumbling around with the jammed drawers and it's still kind of rusty and slow. That is what it's like working on a rubbish SSD. The BlackBook's SSD isn't just about speed either. It's about creating a balanced system where every component works together seamlessly, ensuring that literally no single part is overwhelmed. And this kind of harmony means that a quieter system, less heat, ultimately longer lasting battery life with a smoother user experience. And it's not just the processor or the RAM, it's how all of it actually communicates and works together and shares the workload. And BlackBook's SSDs aren't just any SSD. They've gone for some of the most durable, reliable drivers on the market. And this isn't just an investment in speed, it's like an investment in your data safety and your machine's longevity. Coming back to memory, well, let's delve into that. So the RAM, another crucial element of the BlackBook's exceptional performance, is when you click to open an application, your CPU reads the file from the SSD, but what happens next is all about memory. The memory, or the RAM, allows your system to hold and quickly access multiple files at once. It's like juggling. More balls in the air means a kind of like a more complex act. With 8 GB of RAM, you can manage everyday tasks, but for serious work, you're gonna need more oomph, and that's where BlackBook shines. You can choose configurations between 16 GB, 32 GB, or even a whopping 64 GB of the latest DDR5 memory. These options ensure your system keeps pace with demands, and here's the real kicker, and one of the greatest reasons to love the BlackBook is that the memory isn't soldered into the motherboard. So what does that mean? Well, it means you can change it up. How often in the current ultra portable market where you just buy one model and you get stuck? You know, like even like in the premium MacBook Pros, unlike some of the premium laptops that lock you into your initial choice, the BlackBook provides flexibility. And so I'd recommend you start with a 32 GB because even if your needs change in the future, you can always upgrade to the 64 GB. But that 32 GB option will give you a whole heap of options, will give you so much performance, and really means that the system's well balanced given everything else which has got under the hood. Just having that option is such a unique thing in this segment, that ability to change it up, move it, get rid of it, upgrade it. It's such a delight to have this in this segment. So whether you're juggling dozens of Chrome tabs, running resource intensive applications, or multitasking like a pro, the BlackBook's ample memory keeps everything running smoothly. Talking graphics, in the past, dedicated graphics cards were essential for tasks like gaming, video editing, and graphic design. But technology has advanced massively, and today's integrated graphics are incredibly capable. The Intel Iris Xe graphics accelerator found within the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom is testament to this progress. These integrated graphics are more than just like competent, they've actually become super impressive. So you really don't have to compromise anymore. So you can use the BlackBook for gaming, video editing, music production, like graphic design, and even, the Intel has worked diligently to make their integrated graphics powerful and versatile. You're literally not having to compromise, as I mentioned, anymore. The BlackBook easily handles a range of tasks, including running AAA game titles and demanding software like Adobe Suite. It can even handle 4K video editing with ease. And with BlackBook's graphics capabilities, the bottleneck is no longer a concern, even for intensive applications like that. So take, for example, the Adobe Premiere encoding a 400 megabyte MP4 file into a smaller 37 megabyte file takes 35 seconds, nearly twice as fast as before. And remember, this isn't with a dedicated graphics card. It's all thanks to the BlackBook's integrated graphics processing unit working seamlessly with your CPU. The world of computing has evolved, and the BlackBook has evolved with it. And it's a machine that excels in both work and play, making it a perfect graphics processor for the ultra portable. Battery life, well, it's a bit early for me to tell if I can run these tests that most reviewers do. You're going to get simulated results, and the truth is I actually need to use it as my daily driver like I did the previous generation, but I can tell you already that this is much better. With the largest battery you can kind of put into a laptop and still put it on a plane. So that means with 99.8 watt hours, there isn't just a battery option like that in any laptop available right now. So ultimately, in the end, what matters isn't just the raw power, it's about the harmony of how it all works together. The BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom doesn't just tick boxes, it leaps and bounds ahead of its predecessor and competitors, especially in this segment. Compared to what was already a super fast computer on the last model, it's exactly 40% more powerful than the previous BlackBook from the processing perspective. It also has 59% faster RAM, and about 60% more of it you can go to a whopping 64 gigabytes of RAM, and that's not even the good part. It's not soldered, so you can upgrade it, which means it's on board like everyone else. Like, this has so many good implications. I'll talk about that on a deeper dive later, but now just know this is a super powerful way to go. And before I go on, some of you are probably wondering if I'm going to tell you to buy this product, and I can tell you now, yes. You may be getting impatient, so I'll just spit it out, and here you're not going to be disappointed. This thing is a beast, and if you're weighing up whether to go Dell, XPS or HP, this thing is literally a no-brainer. It is a wondrous machine. Connectivity is a crucial aspect of any modern laptop, and the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom delivers in spades. At its heart is the Thunderbolt 4.0 port, offering a whopping 40 gigabytes per second of bi-directional bandwidth. This means you can kind of transfer data to an external storage at lightning speed. Moreover, you can connect up to 5 Thunderbolt devices, all powered by a single port. This port is incredibly versatile. It's compatible with previous Thunderbolt versions, USB DisplayPort, PCIe, and fits standard USB-C type connections. You can use the port to send signals to an external 4K monitor, connecting up to 2 4K 60Hz display ports or HDMI monitors through a compatible dock or adapter. Thunderbolt designated monitors can be directly connected for a seamless experience as well. The Thunderbolt port also allows you to connect high-speed external Thunderbolt SSDs, giving you storage options that rival internal drives. And if you need to connect other USB peripherals like mice, keyboards, controllers, headsets or whatever, the BlackBook's Thunderbolt port has literally got you covered. But good news, that's not all the port can even do. You can use it for networking by connecting to high-speed 10 gigabyte Ethernet networks via an adapter. Or you can use a Thunderbolt cable to connect 2 computers over a peer-to-peer network, enabling you to transfer large volumes of data super seamlessly. And it doesn't stop there. The BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom is compatible with any Display Link certified or Thunderbolt certified dock, making it excellent choice for kind of co-working spaces or even just offices where you have kind of shift desks all the time. With the right dock, you can literally transform this ultra portable into a fully fledged desktop workstation, allowing you to seamlessly transition between work modes or personal as well. One thing I literally love about the Zero 14 Phantom is the full-sized HDMI port. So you're not faffing around when you're doing a presentation, you just stick the cord in and you're good to go. I hate that you have to take extra things for all these other different laptops, so you can just get straight onto it. Plus, there's also an additional USB Type-C port that has power delivery as well, so super convenient. So what does this all mean? Well, the 9th generation of the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom has come out of the gate full throttle. It is a standout performer in the ultra portable laptop arena and excels in numerous aspects, making it literally the top choice in my opinion for discerning users. The build quality is supreme, and the sleek design will have you thinking they're trying to go up against the Apple suite. It's super impressive, and the performance and the versatility in this PC space, absolutely second to none. The 13th generation Intel Core processor provides ample power for various tasks, whether you're working on documents, crunching numbers, or spreadsheets, or editing photos or videos, it doesn't matter. The generous memory options, like ranging from 8 gig all the way up to 64 of DDR5 memory, ensures multiple multitasking is an absolute breeze, even when you've got multiple apps or tabs open or whatever simultaneously. The visuals on the screen are stunning, and it's got arguably the best panel I've ever seen on an ultra portable. Like, it rivals my big monitors so brilliantly, like clear, bright, colors are fantastic, and the resolution is like top notch, and with 2.4 times more pixels than the standard full screen high def thing, which on the previous model, this thing is an absolute beauty. The Intel Iris Xe graphics accelerator removes the need to compromise here as well, with the Phantom handling like some of the gaming and video editing tasks with ease. It's a testament to how much these kind of integrated graphics has improved. Really amazing. When it comes to storage, the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom doesn't disappoint. Its solid-state drive boasts blazing fast speeds, making data access and application loading an absolute breeze. And with multiple configuration options, including up to 8 terabytes of storage, you can tailor your Phantoms to the storage that you need. So connectivity is where the Phantom truly shines again. It's got all the essential ports and more. It's got the Thunderbolt 4.0 port, offers incredible bandwidth and versatility, making it the go-to choice for the wide range of peripherals and setups. And whether you're connecting to external displays, high-speed SSDs or other devices, the Phantom has literally got you covered. Let's not forget the thoughtful extras like the Wi-Fi 6 for like ultra-fast, reliable wireless connection, a TPM 2.0 chip for enhanced security, and a global warranty that exemplifies Venom's commitment to its products, customers and sustainability, where they will literally buy this product back off you after 7 years. So the current customers are becoming their future suppliers. It's such a cool system. And pricing wise, look, the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom is well at home in the pricey end of the laptop world. But as soon as you start to compare it side by side, and like kind of when it comes to value for money, it becomes exceptional and more than justifies its price tag when it comes to its exceptional build quality, performance, and the biggest battery you can get in this whole segment. It's clearly designed to be a genuine competitor to the Dell XPS and HP Envy lines, which is starting to make their options look pretty average. And these types of users would literally do very well to take advantage of their satisfaction guarantee on the Venom website, where you basically just, if you don't love it, you get 100% money back guarantee. So if you're in the market for a high performance, versatile and reliable ultra portable laptop that you can effortlessly handle the demands of modern computing, you should not walk past the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom. In fact, I would go as far to say that this should be at the top of your list as it epitomizes intelligent performance. Thank you for joining us on this quick dive into the world of the BlackBook Zero 14 Phantom. If you found this quick overview helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe for more tech insights and reviews. I'll be using this BlackBook as my daily driver for the coming months and will release my next deep dive then. But until then, don't be surface level, think deeply.